Welcome to the Filthy Mitts Podcast.
Connor McDavid sent a message, and Oilers fans should be really worried right now. Because when a player like Connor McDavid signs short-term, that's not normal. And after last night's loss, we got a lot to talk about. But before we do, welcome to the Filthy Mitts Podcast. Anybody joining in, please give us a subscribe and a like. We're going to jump right into this. So first things first, last night's game was atrocious. Edmonton didn't even really look that competitive, to be honest with you. And I don't know what they're going to do to try to flip things around for next season, but I'll tell you what, they're officially on the clock. I know Connor McDavid has 2 seasons left starting next year, but I'll tell you what, if they can't get this figured out by next year and bring a cup back to Edmonton, McDavid's gone. He's gone. And I doubt that Edmonton is going to try to trade him until next offseason. And the reason being is they don't have to. They don't have to. But when they have 1 year remaining, if this guy refuses to extend, they're going to be put in a pretty tight situation because he has a no-trade clause. So what does that mean, people? What does that mean? That means he's going to essentially control his own destiny to a certain extent. You know, think back to Mitch Marner. How in the hell did Toronto get virtually nothing for Mitch Marner? Well, it was because he had that no-trade clause. He only wanted to go to Vegas. Vegas had all the leverage in the situation. So Toronto basically had to get what they could for him or risk losing him for nothing. And that's a very real possibility in Edmonton. You're going to try to hang on to Connor McDavid for as long as you can. But when the time comes, if McDavid says he only wants to go here or he only wants to go there, Edmonton's going to lose a lot of leverage. You know, so let's dive into that, because the first thing I want to talk about is what can Edmonton do to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals? Well, it looks like they need to do a lot. Their defense is just pitiful. It's absolutely terrible. They don't have a goalie. You know, so how in the hell are you going to get a star goalie, maybe not even a star, but a really good, legitimate starter that can steal you games? How can they get that? They don't have much trading chips, to be honest with you. My guess is they're not going to get it. And if they do get it, they're still going to suck at defense. I'm calling it right now, but the Edmonton Oilers will lose Connor McDavid. He will absolutely leave. Not this offseason, but he's going to leave next offseason. And when it happens, we need to start thinking about where he's going to go. Because I can tell you every single team in the NHL outside of Edmonton is absolutely going to be putting their trade package together. Now, if I'm McDavid, I absolutely want to go to a contender. He's already wearing the C in Edmonton. He's a living legend. His number will probably already hang in the rafters just from what he's done already. You know, and if that's not enough to keep him, then he's not going to go to just any team. The only reason he would leave is legacy. The man wants to win some Stanley Cups. All right? He wants to get a couple more Conn Smythe trophies. And right now, it just does not look like it's happening in Edmonton. So where would he want to go? You know, we've talked about this with other players, like Auston Matthews, for instance. But man, San Jose looks pretty damn good. That is a bright, young, up-and-coming team. They've got nice pieces from the goalie all the way out. And if you put McDavid as the 1C, it's just amazing to think that Macklin Celebrini could be suiting up as a 2C. Really, it's 1A and 1B. They'll roll both of those lines. And if you can do that, the sky is the limit for San Jose. It really is. The sky is the absolute limit. If I'm McDavid, that's where I would go. You know, but there's other options too. You know, he could team up with McKinnon. Or how about the Buffalo Sabres? Man, they're turning into a wagon. If they added McDavid, that might just put him over the top. Hell, The Minnesota Wild just beat the Dallas Stars. I didn't really see that coming. Did you guys? I mean, I thought it'd be a good series, but holy cow, since they got Quinn Hughes, that is a different team. You know, there's a lot of spots out there that McDavid could go that I think would be a hell of a lot better than Edmonton. Now, as a Red Wings fan, got the wing wheel on the wall behind me, we have to talk about it, guys. We have to talk about it. On paper, the Wings absolutely have the cap space, and they've got a ton of assets. The only problem I see is if you're Edmonton, you don't want to go into a rebuild. You still got Leon Draisaitl. You still got Evan Bouchard. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, I'm wanting another superstar coming back. But that might be pretty tough for them, especially if there's only 1 year left and Connor McDavid is controlling his destiny a little bit. The one thing that the Red Wings could do is they could give him a really nice blue chip goalie prospect. You think Edmonton wouldn't take Kosa? How about the MSU guy? Do you think they'd take Trey Augustine? I bet you they'd be ecstatic to do that, but that certainly isn't enough. You're talking 4 first-round picks, unprotected as well. And the thing is, guys, I don't even think they're that interested in picks, you know, because those picks most likely aren't going to be in their lineup for at least a couple of years, probably 3. So if you're the Detroit Red Wings, what do you give up to get Connor McDavid? And that's assuming the guy even wants to come to Detroit. If he does, if Detroit comes out next season and they explode and they have a hell of a year, they make a pretty good playoff run, and they put a compelling offer and sales pitch to Connor McDavid, I'm asking you guys, what would it take to get him to Detroit? We're going to start with a minimum of 4 first-round picks. But what players are we going to give up? Are we going to give up Lucas Raymond? What about Dylan Larkin? Are we going to give him up? I think if you look at Edmonton's needs, you're giving them Trey Augustine. They're going to get him. And defensively, they've been struggling. Are they going to want Mo Seider? And if they do want Mo Seider, do you say, okay, you can have him. We'll take Connor McDavid. Because this is a really real situation. After next year, when we're in the offseason and he's available, Steve Yzerman's going to have to pick up the phone and he's going to have to put together a trade package. So my question is, what's it going to include? Now, I'll say it again. I don't think Connor McDavid's going to want to come here, but you still have to kick the tires, you guys. In fact, I would argue that's been Detroit's biggest problem is we haven't taken enough risk. You know, I don't care if a guy says he doesn't want to come here. You get his agent on the phone and you try to sell it. We're going to wrap this up for today, but we'll be doing a secondary video about this. Again, welcome to the Filthy Mitts podcast. If you're new, please give us a subscribe and smash that like button. I'm out. You guys have a great day.